Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do things a little bit different and we're going to be blogging about why do guys get married. Why do people get married, sorry. I think there's a lot of reason why people get married. And well, my friend Toya, because she's here, she's married and she's going to give me some tip of my own, maybe what I can use in my relationship to maybe get married one day, because as I know, I'm in a long-term relationship but I'm not married. So I want to know, like, what are some of the tips that you should do, or what should people do, or why do people get married, or should you get married, per se?
Well, marriage overall is a good thing if you have the right person with you, because when you're married, it's not, I would say it's 50-50, but it's not 50-50, it's more 49-49, and each person have a little 1% to play with, because you need to compromise, and because you need to compromise, you have to be flexible, so you get a little bit of leeway, a little bit of room to play with, without going overboard. And the same token, when you get married, you have to also work on the marriage itself. Not because you get married, that's not it, it's a lot of work.
Right.
You have to continue to make your spouse happy. You have to continue to do things together to build your relationship. It's just like if you purchase a seed, you don't just have the seed and it's going to turn into a tree. You have to plant it, you have to nurture it, and then it has to grow, and then if you do all these good things to it, then it blossom, you know? So,
to me, how I look at marriage, like relationship and marriage overall, I look at it like a ship. I always say you can't use one man to sail that ship. You need a bunch of people, because I guess you have to have that people there to kind of put in like whatever they need to make sure that ship keep on sailing. So I always say look at relationship like relationship should be like a ship. You need a bunch of people, or you need two people to keep it going. Right. But in the sense though, like why do people need to get married? Like, why do people get married?
You don't need to get married, because sometimes you even get married and it gets worse. Sometimes you'll be living with somebody for 20, 30, 40 years without marriage, and all of a sudden you get married to them and it's like, why the hell did I even bother? So it depends. It has to be something that you talk about and both parties agree upon it. Otherwise, if one person wants to get married and the other person doesn't, or one person gets an ultimatum to just get married, oh, you have to marry me or else. If that person's heart is not willing, you're just doing it, it's not going to last, because it takes work.
Right.
It takes a lot of work.
Right.
Because not because you get there and you feel like you got the ring or the status or the title, you gotta like slack off and not do. You gotta do more to maintain it, especially if your man or your wife or whoever is really good. You gotta work to keep them, because the same way you wanna get the stuff that you got from that person, other people want it, and a lot of girls want married men too. So when they see that man has a ring on their finger, they tend to want that man even more, because they don't mind being the side chick, because the side chick gets their stuff either way. You know what I mean? Without having to do half the stuff the wives have to do, or vice versa. So I don't know, but for me, I don't care what nobody want to say. My husband has to be doing some crazy things to me for me to leave him, because at the end of the day, I am not investing 10, 20, 30 years in my relationship, and I mold them into this good man, and then some girl just come off the street from God knows where and get all my investment. She is not getting all my interest that I've put into all my stuff. I with my savings. So that's what I think. And overall though, when you have a family and you have a good person as your support, it's overall a good thing to have that reliability, you know, to have that person you can always run to.
So would you say that people these days get married for the right reason? Like, for example, do you think people get married for love, or do you think people get married because they just want to have that big extravagant wedding, or even to, you know, brag on someone, or even get married because they get married for money or for the ring?
I would say people get married for different reasons. It could be for, like you said, all those things. I don't think there's one reason why everyone get married. People do it for love. People, it's a generational thing. Maybe it's a religious or a background thing where their family did it, so it passed from generation to generation, and they don't want to break it, the cycle, or vice versa. It could be no one in the family ever got married, and this one person says, I'm gonna make sure I get married before I have kids, or get married after, before, whichever one works. Depends on what your values and beliefs are. For status, for money, different papers, different stuff. I mean, for myself personally, I'm from the Caribbean background, so if I was in a country where I want opportunity and there's none for me,
right?
And I just don't see it possible to get where I need to be, where I'm at, and there was a possibility of me migrating elsewhere. In my case, I would do it for the papers. Don't get me wrong.
So you're being honest.
I'm being honest because
a lot of people wouldn't be honest about it.
I would, because if I can find someone to say, let's do this and we are cool and it's something agreed upon, or if I find someone and he seems a little trickable and try to trick him here and there to get it, I would, because you know what, it depends. You know, like I said, it depends on your situation. It depends on a lot of things. You're looking for opportunity,
right?
So a lot of people, when they are looking abroad, they're looking for the Milky Way, you know, milk and honey. They don't see that where they're from, so they gotta
make it happen.
Make it happen.
So people will fake it to make it.
Absolutely, people do that every day.
But that's what I noticed. That's why one of the reasons too, I'm scared to get married, because how I look at marriage is like, when I get married, that's it. That one person is like, you're supposed to grow old together until death do you part. And that's, I believe in that. But I find nowadays, when I look at like some of my friends or even family, anyone nowadays, even stranger, I find a lot of them these days is like, they get married and then they're not in love, or you see them and they go out there and they're doing other stuff, and then you're like, okay, why are you doing that? You're married. And they're like, yeah, I'm married, so what?
Right.
Like, things change. But it's like nowadays I see people getting married for the big wedding. It's like, oh my God, I want that big wedding so I can show off at my friends, or I can prove to my family, see, I could get married.
Okay, several years ago, our community never used to get married, especially at a young age. I find that now these black youths are doing more with the marriage thing. I don't know how faithful they are to their spouses and stuff, but they tend to be, I find younger couples are getting married nowadays, which is good. I like that.
Right.
There comes a time also, I find, where now some of these men who haven't been married before, so this is their first marriage and they're in their 40s or in something like that, they are getting married because they feel that they're at the age. They think that they have played enough and now they're ready to settle down.
Right.
But because they haven't settled down for so long, now they're married, their body is not used to all of this commitment to that one person. So even though they're married by papers, they're still not being committed to that person. They are still enjoying life.
Right. So that's why they step out
of their relationship. Okay. They're not trying to disrespect the wife, which they are. But they are trying to enjoy themselves and regain that youth and still have that leeway, like, you know, before they never, especially if they get married to someone that's not in the country.
Right.
So they get married to the person doesn't live here. So in the meanwhile, while the person is not here, they're enjoying themselves.
Right.
When the person come back in to visit, or if they go visit that person, they're a couple.
Right.
So that's another issue where I find if you're not committed and you're not ready to settle down and take on the role and responsibility of a husband or a wife, it's just something that you shouldn't do, because it's not fair for the other person if you know that person is being committed. That's another thing. You're not sure. Living in a country here and there, one is over there doing one thing, and one is on the other side doing another thing, but then when you guys come together, you guys are doing the same thing. Nobody knows what's happening elsewhere. You think, there's this new thing people talk on IMO, and you can call 24/7 and you can see the person face to face. But realistically, if I'm in a relationship with someone and they live abroad or wherever they live, and I see that person calling me, and even if I have
a
man next to me and I see my husband calling, do you think I'm going to answer and say, hey honey? Realistically, I'm going to tell the person to move.
Step to the back.
Right? So that I can talk to my husband and we're going to have a relationship, and then when we're done talking, homeboy comes back, because obviously he's homeboy. He got to know to stay in his lane, like Wally. What the girl there?
So
Wally Bridges says.
Yeah. So you pretty much tell this side man that you have your husband,
right?
So he knows his role,
right? You have to, because at the end of the day, you do. You can't just tell them when the person's coming to visit or when you're going to visit the person, because then you're going to be in a whole lot of shebang. So might as well you just be honest. I have my husband. He's not here. Or I have my wife, she's not here. So when he or she comes, you know you gotta step back.
Right. So then, to me, then that doesn't feel like it's a marriage, because I feel like both parties not being truthful.
Oh no. What if, for example, what if I am the one that is married to someone, for example, right? And my spouse is not living with me.
Right.
I'm 100% the side chick. Well, not the side chick, but I'm 100% the wife to that person.
Right.
But when he's not here, I'm someone else's side chick.
Right.
Right? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So I am committed to that person as a side chick. And maybe my husband has someone else being committed to them or him as a side chick. So side chick knows when I'm around, she got to stay in her lane. Then I know to stay in my lane because I'm a side chick for someone else. You know what I mean?
Right. But then it come back to my question. So why do people get married if you're going to play that kind of game?
But it's not everyone that does it. Some people are really in love with the person. Right. Some people are really just enjoying the whole relationship thing, to just be in love, have multiple kids.
Okay, so I guess overall we can just say marriage
it's great. It's a good thing. It's not bad once you have the right companion. Marriage is about it's a building block. It's like a pyramid. It's one step of another. It's another block, another level. It's all about climbing higher and higher and higher to accomplish that greatness that's at the end.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. And once you have the right support system, it's amazing. Just to know you have that person in your corner that you can rely on. You don't necessarily need a lot of friends, you know what I mean? Because you don't need too many. When you're married, either way, you don't need a lot of people outsourced. You need more
you and
your partner to build on you guys, to
be best friends,
and
leave all the other people outside, because those are the ones that affect the relationship.
Right.
Sometimes.
I mean, you still need outside friends. Don't get me wrong. You still need to have your own identity. You know what I mean? But you need to also spend time to regrow and continue to find that thing, that spark, to make that thing continue to manifest deep within, so that at the end of the day the reward is great for your marriage. Because overall, nobody wants to really have a marriage that fail.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know in the celebrity world, people just get married for 1, 2, 3 years and a couple days or whatever, but realistically, if you think of it, you want to have that long-term commitment. You want a lifetime thing, you know. You want to grow old together. You want to.
That's what I want.
That's what I want, at least. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to have that stability of you know, like
old school love, as
right.
We always say,
so you're in the mall in the winter time together because you're retired, and you look at the young folks holding hands, and you're like, oh, that was us 30, 40, 50 years ago, you know. So you look at them and you say, I can see us in them, kind of thing, you know.
So the Notebook kind of relationship, in a way, even though Notebook was kind of like a movie, not real, but it can be real if you make it like that.
If you make it real, you know what I mean? It's just when you have that person in your life, whether it's the man or the woman, whoever it is, you just have to know what their needs and their requirements are. And once you guys live a respectful life, that means just remember, respect regardless. You don't get up and you say every and anything that comes to your mouth to that person. You have to have that person on a different level. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't just be talking to that person like you're talking to just any person. This is whether you guys have kids or not, it's your spouse. You have to have a different level when it comes to that person, so you have that respect. Even if you're thinking it in your head, your mouth doesn't come out at all. It just stays in here, and you say what you want to say in here, but just don't utter it out. That's my thing.
Okay.
So overall, I would say
Try
get
it.
married.
Okay, girl, I'll go do it next week. Or better sense, make I do it right now.
There you go.
Yes.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for watching.